Thank you so much for listening and joining in on the Small Group Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. We would love for you also to send our podcast to a friend. Our goal is to grow and learn as individuals, also to be a help and encouragement to others in journeys of faith and in matters of faith as we talk with one another and learn from you. So please let us know how we can serve better. And again, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Well, I hope you like crappie. This is Small Group Podcast. I'm Benjamin Maxwell.
I'm Lacey Maxwell.
And we're so blessed to be joined again for a second episode with my big brother, Jonathan, and his wonderful wife, Anna. And I didn't mention this last time. I don't know how I got through the episode without bringing this up, but they're more affectionately known in our house, anyway, as Bosco and Jamma. So welcome back, Bosco, and welcome back, Jamma.
Oh. The baby can't say Bosco, though. She says Coco.
Yeah, yeah,
And I answer
changes.
either, so I don't care. If that baby calls me, I answer. I don't care.
One day she's going to call, "Hey, big man."
Whatever.
Hey, big man.
Hey, I don't like that as much, but whatever.
Well, we had so much to talk to you guys about, and we're so thankful for that you're willing to do another discussion with us. We're going to dive a little deeper tonight's episode, but before we do, I think
Today's icebreaker question is, this is very important. What is your favorite starburst flavor? Like what color?
Pink.
Thank you. That is the correct answer.
Definitely. That's the only right answer.
Yes. Yes.
Pink.
Yeah.
Is that
Pink.
Like strawberry?
It's
Well,
pink.
It's pink, but it's either
like blue
strawberry,
Gatorade.
but they
Yeah.
also have the pink watermelon ones. And then there's another pink one, too.
Really?
Wait.
Yeah.
There's different shades of pink?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's why I'm
Yes.
asking, because there is like that.
And they're all good.
Yeah. Because I
when I
really
say
like,
dive deep, we are diving deep tonight, folks.
oh yeah. Because I like the one that's, I think you could say it's red, but it's not. It's kind of like a darker pink. It's the cherry one.
That one's red, isn't it?
I don't know, because it's kind of pinkish looking, but it's darker pink than.
It's red.
It's red.
Is
it's
it red? Okay,
There's
I like
pink
the red
and
ones.
there's red. Those are two
You like red,
different.
the cherry?
And then there's a fruit punch one that's like a deep red color.
Mm.
Cherry's
I
like
don't
the
like
one
that one.
flavor I don't.
Yeah.
do.
Cherry
No.
is like cough medicine.
Yeah.
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 Like, I just can't.
Well, you said for Starburst, it's different for other
Yes.
things. It's you have limited on a standard pack of Starburst. You basically only got what lemon,
Yeah. Orange.
strawberry, orange, and cherry.
Yes.
No, you
It's
have
4 colors, isn't it?
Yes, you have yellow, orange, pink, and red.
I'm
There's
sorry.
not flavors.
I
they're
call it by
colors.
its government name. My bad.
It's given Christian name.
You ever heard that one?
It's government name.
Yeah, you're dealing with a cop when they come to the gas station and get a Gatorade, and they say, "I want lemon lime," and they don't call it by. I want the yellow one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it by its government name.
government
Dude's a cop, man.
Well, thank
The
y'all for
more you
indulging
know.
me.
Yeah, well, you learn things in Decatur.
Man, I don't know if I can go any deeper than where
I
we're
thought you was
already
going to
at.
ask about Skittles. I was ready for that.
We're a
one.
Giggles family around
A
here.
Giggles fan.
Yeah.
There's a bug. I'm sorry.
My wife's also having an episode.
She's spazzing
Beating
out.
somebody up. I don't see them.
Are you sure those were Skittles you ate?
That's why we don't do the red ones.
What's your favorite Skittle color then?
Green,
Skittle,
lime.
Skittle.
Yeah.
I like the green apple
like
one.
your favorite.
Yeah. Out of your
Interesting.
standard Skittles now.
Mhm.
Now you got the tropical ones, the purple one. Those are all winners. The purple bag. What?
The way you say standard Skittles, it goes
Yeah.
back to my
No,
government name.
No, that's the thing, man. The red bag, your standard
Your
normal.
standard issue Skittle.
Yeah. No. MREs.
Yeah.
What kind of Skittles you get? The red bag. Now they may be in a white bag in an MRE, but it's the ones you find in a civilian red bag.
I don't know if I've ever gotten Skittles in the MRE.
You have?
He means
You ain't
business
living
with
right.
his Skittles.
Huh?
You and your Skittles.
Yeah, I knew when she said Skittles, I knew that was going to set Anna off because I have a deficiency about me where if I open, you call it, you seem to act like damaged.
I just like to
Okay,
mess with
so
you.
if I open a bag of M&Ms or I get a handful of M&Ms or a handful of Skittles, bag of Skittles,
Sort them,
whatever,
right? I
Yeah.
remember you doing
By
this.
color.
I remember
By
this.
color.
I mean,
and my wife thinks it's hilarious. Okay, so I got them
I
all
just thought it
sorted
was
out.
bizarre. I don't know about hilarious.
No,
This
it's
is
fine. It's
hilarious
normal.
part. Oh, okay.
It's fine. It's just
I'll
don't
go
like
over
my-
there after
No.
he has them sorted and I messed them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Before I married her, I lived with him, and he did the same thing with my Legos, man. So I'd have my Legos, and he
Oh,
got whooped for it.
Don't
by
trigger. Don't
I've
trigger me
seen-
about Legos.
I have
here.
seen our grandfather give out one spanking, and it was him, and it was because he stomped my Legos right in front of me.
You want to know why? Okay, we're gonna open this can. You want to know why I stomped the Legos? So I was the one that, whenever I got a Lego set, I put the set together the way it was supposed to be put together, following the instructions.
Yeah,
And then all my sets were ever only like that once. So this one got a hold of them. And so, yeah, you mess up my Legos, I'm gonna stomp on them.
His OCD. Okay, so our Lego culture clashed badly because his OCD. He had to follow the directions to the letter, get it done. I had to be as creative as humanly possible and push the barriers of physics and Lego structural integrity.
Okay, I just love how a question about Starburst turned into a
Triggered.
full-blown family therapy session.
Well,
This is why we didn't get done the first time.
My bad.
We're gonna have to set a
Yeah.
timer with y'all.
Maybe
too.
you want to
Like,
just ask
cool.
questions. I'll shut up about
Well,
Skittles.
I'm feeling a spinoff show where we just air our grievances that we've been holding back for so long.
My bad.
Well, let's get into baptism.
Y'all start me on baptism. I'll drink coffee and listen.
Since you brought up Legos, let's talk about baptism for a minute. So one thing we didn't get into the last episode, we really want to talk to you guys about is, we'll start off with parenting, and then want to get into, you guys are, like I think we talked about last episode, very involved in the congregation that you guys are part of, in that youth group, and the youth that are there worshiping with you guys. You're heavily involved in that, always going somewhere, doing something with them. So we have some questions for you about that. But first, more from a parenting standpoint, and this is something that's starting to come up a little more in our friend group as our kids are starting to get a little older, and these questions about baptism are coming up. And this is something that with Taylor and Sabrina we're going to dive into soon on a full episode, as far as what baptism is. But since we've got you guys here, be curious to know, you have kids that have been baptized, 3 now, and so you've navigated those waters, and just kind of like to hear from you on how you navigate those waters. How do you broach those subjects, or when that subject gets broached by your children, how do you initially handle it?
Have any questions or any topics you would like us to discuss, or just have comments about anything we discuss here at Small Group, then please email us at goat.bear.lobster@gmail.com. You can also reach us at our website, smallgrouppodcast.wordpress.com. Find more on how to reach us in the podcast description.
I think one of the biggest things, we didn't push, and we didn't even really bring it up. Like, hey, are you thinking about doing this? We didn't do that. We just
never had to.
never have done that. And so, they're raised in the church. They're hearing it. We know they're hearing it. We'll even go over it some at home, just in our everyday studies, but we didn't dwell on that because we don't want them to feel pressured. We want them to be doing it for the right reason.
Absolutely. To that point, real quick. I forgot to hit my button.
Man.
Sorry.
Hey, warn somebody.
Didn't mean to set you off. Sorry, that was bothering me. I didn't hit my button before we dove
on
in.
edge, man.
But I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm following you. I am listening.
Yeah. So
Despite the air horns.
they've all three came to us when they were ready.
Right.
You know, and the age, you know, obviously Jude even said before, "Oh, I want to do that." But you have to make discernment, obviously. But when the girls came to us, didn't go by the age.
Well, what age were they when they first kind of brought it
So
up?
Lorelai was 9.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie was 7. Almost 8. But
So
she was
Lizzie's
7.
more
Yeah,
involved
she was
in her church.
Lizzie's
Lizzie's more involved in her church.
No. There's an
And-
interesting instance
Yeah.
with, but go ahead.
Lucy was 11.
Yeah.
She was
And that was very recently.
Very
As y'all
recent,
saw
yes.
on FaceTime.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there.
Thank you for
via
letting
that.
us.
Yeah, that was great. But funny story about that, just real quick. You said Jude even talked about. So, so we got done, and we were on our way, and everyone was heading towards the church building because it was super cold, or else we would have done it at the pool at her grandparents' house. It's the easy way to do it. But so we were headed for the Baptist Street Church, and Jude's in the back. He said, "I'm gonna get baptized too." I said, "Are you?" He said, "Yep, I can hold my breath real good." I was like, okay.
That's called an extra baptism.
Yeah, exactly. I said, buddy,
Super baptism.
buddy, I don't think this is everything you think it is. Oh yeah, it is. I know it is. Which is a far cry from what he used to think, because when he was little Tyke would run up there and try to play around the baptistry, and we were afraid he would. So Tom our preacher comes up with this great thing to tell him, "Hey, there's alligators in there." And so I thought, oh great, we'll never get him in there now.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah. Just hopefully he'll forget about the alligators and worry more about salvation than.
Another good strategy is one that was kind of unintentional. The one we grew up with, where they hung the waiters on the back of the door,
Listen.
and every time you poke your head into the baptistry, and it looks like someone is hanging in there dangling, and it's scared.
Here's
the mess out of
here's the order of events. You go in there, you open that door. You don't know, or you forget that the waiters are there until the boots hit the door, and you turn around and there's feet and there's like a body hanging from the door, and you're like, "Oh no!"
Even when you know it's there, it still gets you. So I've always been terrified of baptistries. I'm scared to death. But
So, okay. So when I was 7 when I was baptized, and my little brother, who was 5 at the time, wanted to be baptized too. And so my parents were trying to explain to him, like, not yet. We'll talk about it, all the things. Well, we were all in the living room one day, and he came down. He had taken a bath, and he came down and he said, "Just wanted to let y'all know I baptized myself."
Funny.
real quick, going back to Anna, to your point of, and I love that idea of them coming to you, them letting them broach that subject, and we're talking ages 7 through 11. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I'm not really trying to. I'm just curious, because do you ever think that there's a age maybe beyond that where if they haven't brought it up, where it becomes incumbent on you as a parent?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's funny because actually not long before Lucy came to us, Lorelai was in the car with me, and I asked her, I said, "Has she said anything to you?"
Mm-hmm.
Because you can kind of tell sometimes if they're thinking about it, but with Lucy, she had brought it up once, but didn't fully understand.
As much as she talks and as much as she does communicate, some things she'll pocket.
Yes, and that's what she did.
Yeah.
So she apparently had been thinking about it for a while, but
just not
didn't let
voicing it.
on.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you remember when we were kids, I was a tough nut to crack as far as that goes. I was almost 15, and it was Grandpa that got me, because it was something I had wanted to do for a long time. I was so afraid to draw attention to myself, and so he just one night, it was just me and him, and he said, he asked me about it. He said, "You ever thought about being baptized?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You want to do that now?" your mother's worried about you.
Oh.
Yes. And then the relief that I had, and I don't know why I felt like I had to wait for permission. And so taking that feeling, that's one of the things I put in writing. And when we deal in the youth group with some more standoffish, more shy students, I'll make a deal with them. I say, "Hey, look, here's my deal to you.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about baptism, and, I know how hard it can be to have the spotlight shown on you, and you don't want the attention, and I'll make this deal with you. If you ever reach that decision where you think it's time for you to be baptized, you just give me a signal, let me know. I will shut this down. We will drain this building. There won't be anyone in here. It'll be just you and your parents and anyone else you want. I'll make that deal to you." And I've had that taken up.
Well, what age group are you talking about?
I'm talking about older.
It's like preteens, kind of.
No, full teen.
Okay.
Full teen, like 16, 17, that age range.
Because
once you get into the age range, I start to think this kid's probably geared like I was, and is scared to death. And that was the case, come to find out.
That's a very interesting perspective, because we're wired differently. That whole idea of waiting for permission I find that very interesting, because that wasn't something I don't.
It
know
wasn't
that I
really.
dealt with,
it wasn't really that I felt like I was waiting for permission. It was just like I just felt like who am I to bring all of this attention to myself? I shouldn't do that. And I was super shy at the time. I got over it,
and maybe you fall in, because like, especially when you're as a kid, when you have like you're, I guess, heavy regulated, you have very, we had a many standards of things you do and things you don't do, and you kind of fall into that routine of doing as you're told. Maybe baptism starts to become kind of like that, where it's you start to lack a little bit of intentionality. I'm not saying anything wrong with a standard like that, but what doesn't get fostered is that intentionality sense so much.
Well,
in that.
And part of it was just being so shy to the point I didn't know how to ask, because I didn't know how. I'm one that finds it's real difficult for me to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
It's real difficult for me to admit I need help, because then I feel like I'm wrong and then let people down. And
He's still that way.
She knows the score better than any.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
Jonathan, it's not your fault.
So is. But yeah, it was more of a feeling of, I guarantee you I was ready for almost a smooth year before I was actually baptized, but I was terrified of the thought of having to ask, or telling someone, even mom and dad. And I feel I can tell mom and dad anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even at that age I did, but I was just like, I don't want to inconvenience people, and I don't want, and it really got down to kind of a dicey thing. Like, well, what, you're supposed to, you should do this. Yeah. And then I'm just like socially mortified. And you get students like that.
Yeah.
You get my lovely wife, we're two very different personalities, and it shines a lot more now. We're both better than we used to be as far as being outgoing, but she would be more of the introvert versus my extrovert now. But she was really, really had a hard time with the introvert type stuff in like high school range and stuff. So those are the students that I look for that kind of, that deal I'm talking about. Like, me and you can study about it. You can study with your parents about it. By all means, study on your own about it. I'll give you some things to look at here. But you got to keep it short. You got to keep it sweet. Now, sometimes you got to keep it in writing.
Yeah.
So I've sent that message on even Snapchat before, and text message, and one I delivered to in person. And there was one at camp. I made him that deal, and 2 hours later, knock on the cabin door, and one of his buddies comes in. Hey, you need to come now. So and so's going to take you up on the deal. He was standing next to us when I was talking to, and he said, "Go get Tom." I'm like, "All right, is that who he wants?" He said, "Yep." I said, "Well, his mama's got to be here too, because she was there too."
Yeah.
I said, "His mama's got to be here. That's my requirement. His mama's got to be here, and I'll go get." Okay, we'll do this. So, but
and you're talking, I guess, more along the lines of youth group.
Yeah.
And I all that's great. And I want to dive more into that. But before we do, I just kind of come back to as a parent, and
Our
it's your
kids,
child. Yeah. Your kid comes to you, indicates in some way that they are at least thinking about it, or even that they want to be. What is, in your mind, what's one of the first things, what do you prioritize as far as your response? What are you trying to glean from them in whatever you ask? How do you ask it? Stuff like that. What's your go-to in that situation?
I can sum this up, and then Anna will elaborate. I can sum this up into a one-word response that you give to the child. Why?
Yes, they need to be able to tell you what they're doing and why.
Yeah, and that's as simple as it is, because, like what you were talking about, what Anna was talking about earlier about, or one of y'all mentioned sibling. Oh, it was your brother, about siblings following in line because they saw the other sibling get baptized. Lizzie had a big case of that.
Yeah,
and Lorelai got baptized, and almost immediately Lizzie said, "I think it's time for me." I'm like, "Okay, so why?" Well, because Lorelai did it. I was like, "No." I said, "That ain't gonna fly. Let's do some more studying." And we did.
Or they could say something like, "Well, because I need to."
Yeah, because I need to.
Why do you need to? You know.
Yeah. And that was one of her answers too. So with Lizzie, and I'll just run through them all, because I think this is what you're after. With Lorelai came to us. Lorelai knew. Lorelai had all her ducks in a row. She was very serious about it. Even at, was she 9? Yeah, she was 9.
and she's very genuine. You can tell, like,
Lorelai is one of our biggest hearted, most honest people I've ever met. Not just because she's my kid. It's just, Lorelai's telling me the truth. She's a bad liar. But Lorelai, answered the questions, and here we go. This is time. And that was the first one. And that was like, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, is this really happening? This is crazy.
I bet that's got to be a bizarre
the chills
as a parent.
The chills I got, man. Yeah. It was wild. But and then Lizzie comes along. I think it was even the same night. She said, I think, but why? Because Lorelai did. I'm like, no, that's not. Let's study. So we studied and off and on for 7 or 8 months after that. It was almost a cool year.
Lizzie.
Yeah, with Lizzie. And I was like, go read this. Let's look at this. Okay. Come back to me when you want to talk about it again.
That sounds like more how my path went too.
Yes. Yeah. And so we would be in my office, and I would say, okay, let's look at this. We would read whatever we were reading at the time and talk about it. So what do you think this means? And she said, so am I ready? I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Because it's the right thing to do. Okay.
Warmer.
But why? Come back 2 or 3 months later. We were going to pick up pizza one night after Bible study at Marco's, and we had driven all the way to Hartselle, which was about 25 minutes away from the church building, away from the house and everything. And Anna goes in to pick up the pizza, and she gets to the door, and Lizzie answers the question. She answers it right from the back seat. She leans, of course, she's behind me, and she leans up, and I said, why? And she said, because I sinned, and that's a bad thing. Said, oh, really? She said, yeah, I don't like that. I'm ready. And I was like, and so I was like, oh, this is real. This is really real. I got to get Anna out here and so Anna made it to the door at Marco's, and I'm out there. I'm hanging out the window motioning. Come on, get in. She said, what's wrong? I said, we're going to baptize Lizzie. Don't drop the pizza. So
and then we're having pizza.
somehow we all got in the car with the pizza, and then Anna gets on the phone and starts calling grandparents and aunts and uncles and stuff. And so we say, hey, we just left the church building. So are we going back to the church building? I don't know. What do you think? Is the pool open at Pops and Dee Dee's? Well, yeah. Okay, let's go for the pool. So can everyone meet at the pool? Yeah. So we all meet at the pool, and that's where.
And so, like you mentioned Lorelai's path and journey there. I felt like that moment where you go to baptize her is such a she's first one, and here you are. It's just a surreal moment.
Yeah.
What I'm feeling with Lizzie is, I mean, obviously when you go to physically baptize her, that's a big moment. But when after all of those talks and working with her, that moment where it clicks and you feel it click as a parent, that's got to feel surreal as well.
Anytime, and Mama can talk about this more, especially because she's their homeschool teacher full time. I'm only a part time substitute when it comes to certain subjects. I'm a specialist. When you're teaching a kid, and I feel this way too with our students in Bible class and everything with youth group, when you're teaching a concept and you go over it, you think why am I doing this? And then they spout off something that they've learned from
6 times 7.
Yeah.
42. Yeah, it's on my license plate, so I don't forget.
Long story there.
I was listen. I was cool before it was cool, and now that everyone knows I got it, it shouldn't be cool anymore.
This is Bosco's big emotional trauma of learning multiplication from a rocket scientist growing up.
I told that man I didn't know that engineering stuff. And
you'll never forget 6 times 7.
So when I graduated from Bama, I had it put on my license plate. I gave him the old one.
The craziest part of it is, 6 times 7 is the one that gets all the credit, and 42 being the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for the nerds.
The answer to the question of the meaning of life.
That's just the craziest thing to me. That's how that worked out. But.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing we could talk a long time about. How many times 42 shows up in nature, and 6 and 7 and Hebrew numerology and all that, and I don't want to talk about it.
So Lucy's baptism.
yeah. It's like a thank you. We get to stay on point. Coffee's running thin.
Was there something you were going to add to either one of those, Anna?
I don't think so. I know when I came out of the pizza place for Lizzie, I was like, when Jonathan told me, I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure she's ready?" And he was like, "Yes," because she's 7. So you just have to,
And I was almost like, "Hey, watch this, Lizzie. Why?"
Yeah.
So when she approached you, she
do it for your mama.
She was 6.
No, she
was.
No, she was 7. She was close to 8 when she was baptized.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking in perspective of someone with a 3-year-old, it's like, man, 6. That's not. That's just around the corner.
Jude is 7 now.
Yeah.
So it's a case by case situation.
It is.
It absolutely is.
Definitely.
No, I mean, all kidding aside.
Say no more.
It absolutely is, because all kids are different, and especially, the divide between boys and girls.
Yeah.
Girls mature a whole lot faster most times, but I think it's going to be a little while for my boy. I love him, but we gotta get some other concepts figured out, like not sitting in the floor under the pew during. Yeah, we ain't ready yet. But
once you master where to sit in church,
then
we'll move on.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that could be the hard part too. Is the other people be like, have an opinion about the age.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful not to let that play a part.
Right.
In
it's
it, because
it's about that individual soul. Treat your kid as a soul.
Absolutely.
If they know, and you don't let them do what is right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's part of the why.
That's very
because
important.
If they can tell you, that means they know, and if they know, that means they want to do something about it. And
because what we're talking about here is, that whole when they come to you, what's your response? Because it's a personal decision on their part.
Absolutely.
So your role there is really, it's not to be a barrier, it's to be kind of like a filter, facilitator as far as just, you don't want them to abuse this act, and which I know we haven't really got to we won't on this episode dive much into what is baptism, because that's a big part of this, but that whole of walking that line of not being a roadblock, but like you said, facilitator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last thing you want to do, there's dire warnings about making a little one stumble.
Exactly.
And then,
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
now that I'm on this side of the ball and I am a Christian and I have been baptized and I am walking the way I'm walking, my job now is to help others walk and enable that in any way I can. And one of those ways is helping, because when you're a little kid, you can have big feelings and you sometimes can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And helping them sort that out sometimes is one of the, it's my honor. I know it's Anna's too. We've had some long, lengthy discussions with some youngins.
Brings you closer to them too.
It really
does.
does, because once they feel like they can come to you for the little things, they come to you for the big things.
Yeah.
And that's an honor for me and for Anna. And we tell our kids all the time, hey, look, anytime you got to talk about something. I don't care what time it is. And some of us have taken us up on that. But
Well, real quick, you referenced, I think you were referencing the verse where Jesus is warning, if you cause these children, these young people to stumble or become any kind of stumbling block. Was it a millstone? Well, yeah, it's better that a millstone tied around your neck. And
cast into the ocean.
you have that verse. I want to sprinkle in another one. I was just reading, forget which letter. I think it was one of Paul's letters to either Timothy or Titus, where he's saying, remember those examples of faith. Remember these people who are such a good a strong example for you. And kind of what you're describing is where you're at in life is, and I'm not saying that's your priority of approach.
Yeah.
I think the priority of what you mentioned with Jesus's words, I think is probably a stronger priority to come from, not necessarily of, I want to be an example. That's secondary. I think it's a fruit of following Jesus's words. But we can think of all those influences in our life who have been examples of faith, but sometimes it's hard to turn that corner to where you start to think of yourself as, I need to start being an example of faith.
Right. Well, one of the things that I've learned over the last
We're switching patches.
My neck patch on.
Hey, patches.
I'm just a servant. Okay?
Yes.
And I've learned from the best servant. So the example comes not from me trying to be an example, but the example will come from serving the way I'm supposed to serve. And, if you serve the way you're supposed to serve, then people will see that light. You will be that salt that you're supposed to be. And that's where the example comes in. Not that you should stress to be the example and that's your goal.
Right.
You be a servant and the rest will follow.
But I think you can at least be mindful of that.
Oh, yeah,
especially
no doubt.
when you have your own examples of faith.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But I'm with you.
Discernment, definitely, but the majority of it comes from being a servant,
Yeah.
and the example stuff just kind of happens after.
It's like the harder you try to be that example, at least in my experience, the further away you get from that. So it's like, but I think, I'm with you.
You lose the focus.
Yeah.
On what you should be.
I agree with where you came from of that standpoint of that very direct and severe warning from Jesus himself,
Oh, yeah, very much.
Well, and I do love how you said that you don't want to pressure them, because like I've heard of, people are like, they're getting to the age of accountability, which is its own separate conversation.
Yeah, that ain't a number.
Like you brought up our grandfather being a very influence on you, that approach, it worked on you and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
That approach could also backfire in a different,
absolutely
wrong situation.
Absolutely. And, I get to thinking the way he did approach that, I think in some of those kids that I have that are gun shy, boy, that would have scared them to death. But that's my grandfather. I knew he didn't know anything but direct. So there was never a bush there was never a bush that he beat around. He just plowed through the whole thing with a bush hog.
What bush?
Yeah.
Did y'all see a bush? I didn't see it.
But no, you can definitely spook a shy one real bad if you're not careful.
And real quick, Lucy's story.
Yeah, Lucy.
we've interrupted you too many times.
No, you're good. So Lucy, help me out with Lucy. That was
Well, I don't. When I was on the other side of the house, remember? And I came in there, and she's in your lap crying, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Okay. All right.
I was like, "What's wrong?"
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember where you were at, and it says you were in the laundry room.
No,
Right.
I was towards our room.
Okay.
I think.
So we had just gotten back from. It was it like a Sunday night Bible study or something? We had come back from something at church. I want to say it was something like that. Anyway, we got back from that, and we were doing our usual Sunday night,
Oh,
getting ready for
It was-
Monday, and
it was the night I hit the deer.
oh, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. That was an eventful day. I forgot about that.
We got to start videotaping these episodes. Some of these faces.
The light bulb went off.
Yeah.
We have too many kids for me to remember. I remember exactly now where we were at, what we were doing. So that was the night we did we got the youth group together, and we had the area wide devotional union, which is the congregation that I serve as a deacon and that we worship with. And so we had more than 300 they stopped counting at 330 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, come in. And so we had all these kids from all the area congregations, and we had ordered like 50 pizzas, hoping that was going to be enough. So Anna
I'm hearing
and Lorelai,
pizza's a key part of all of this.
it's the linchpin.
Every
I
one
told you I know how to order
pizza.
pizza. Yeah, between my kids and
We
my
had
extra
pizza
kids.
last night, and I felt a little spiritual connection.
you better best believe it. Yeah,
We're going down to the Gulf right now.
Listen, if we ain't going to have Bible study and pizza, I don't want no part of it. So maybe even singing a little bit. So anyway, we had all these kids from the area wide, and Anna and Lorelai go to pick up all the pizzas because we're kind of working in the background. We got some other guys. We got a guy from another congregation that came and preached and spoke to the kids in the auditorium, and then we had another guy singing and all that. So our duties were behind the scenes, get ready for all these kids to come swarming over and hungry, and their chaperones too. And so the parking lot's full of buses and full of cars, just at past capacity. And our normal members we're all looking around like, this is the most people we've ever seen. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, there more showed up than I thought was going to. He said prepare for 200. We had 300. And anyway, so Anna and Lorelai went to get the pizza. Well, Anna sends the text. All good. We got the pizza because we'd had some trouble trying to get our order to go through. All good. Got the pizzas on our way. Good. So I'm in the fellowship hall with my team fixing to get ready for Miss Anna to get there with the pizzas. Well, I get my phone starts ringing and it's Anna. I'm like, this can't be good. She just told me everything was good. This can't be good. I answer the phone and I hear, I said, what? What's going on?
Oh, I can just imagine how you're panicking.
Oh, I am. I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm headed to my truck.
Yeah.
I'm headed to my truck to leave. And in the background, because it's on speakerphone, I hear Lorelai, Mom hit a deer. We're fine. And so I'm like, okay. All right. So what is it bad? And
So I'm someone
She
that will
start crying.
remain calm when it happens,
yeah.
and I got us off the road, and then
Yeah.
I freak out
Aw.
after that.
So, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming to you, or can you still drive? And Lorelai was like, yeah, we're moving. I think we'll be able
well,
to
the
make
deer was still in the road.
it. The deer
That's
was
what I
in the
worried
road, and the
about.
guy fortunately stopped and helped her and all that. And so she got moving again. And so they're headed to the fellowship hall. And I'm standing there with my group, and I'm like, y'all, Miss Anna hit a deer. And of course, two of the guys are like, where's it at? I'm going to go. Did she put it in the car, or I need to go harvest it? Like, you go look. I'm mad at it. So she pulls. All right. So we've got more people coming in the parking lot, and here comes this busted up expedition around the corner. The front end's gone, y'all. The grill's gone down to the radiator. There's pieces pulled back. There's hide hanging out of the shards of grill left. She pulls up to the fellowship hall, and I come out with my jaw open, and people are coming out. What happened? She hit a deer. Oh, where's it at? I'll go get. No. So we go out there. I go and console Anna. She's shaking and crying, and I told Lorelai, who's indifferent to the whole matter, because the pizza's there. That's all she cares about. So I said, all right, you guys start making a train, start unloading pizzas. So I get.
Yeah, I mean, he literally opens my car door and I fall apart again.
She did, yeah.
He's so busy with me.
She was mushy. And so I get her, and I think her dad came over there and helped take care of her.
No, so I didn't see him.
You connected with your dad, and he helped take care of you while I was trying to. Okay, so I had a train. I had a train of kids coming around the back of the car, getting boxes of pizza and going back in. I had my kids, my personal children, coming across. All right, and I'm loading them up with pieces of the car that have come off, and I was like, "Go put this in the trunk." And so pizza comes out of the car, pieces of the car go in the trunk. So anyway, we got all the pizza in there, and so all of that to get home to Lucy. But so we had this big night. We had all these kids, and they all come in the end.
Yeah, and I didn't even tell you this, but going through that, I was thinking that whole time, I just want to go home. Yeah. I just want to go home. Yeah. I just want to go home.
She was over it. She was done.
Yeah.
And I'm so exhausted.
Now I'm glad we stayed, because obviously something, there's a reason.
It's wild looking back at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, because she felt like that. I felt the same way, just because of
Not
exhaustion.
even a deer can stop this train.
That's right.
The devil sent the deer.
The devil sent the deer.
That's right.
The devil sent the deer, and we said, no, not today. Send a buck. No. But so we got all that done, and so all the kids funnel in, all the hundreds of kids funnel in, they get food. So me and another guy, we break out into a singing that lasts for a while. So I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go home, just because, I'm spiritually full, and it's great. I'm feeling great. Everything went well. Everybody did great.
The pizza survived.
The pizza survived. The car did not. The pizza survived. And so we're all ready to go home. We're just all exhausted. Anna's emotionally shot. We're all done. So we get home, and I hadn't eaten because when these
300
things,
kids to feed.
Yeah, I didn't touch the pizza because that's for the kids, and
it's like a swarm of locusts.
We were barely getting by. Plus, I was so busy, I didn't have time to eat. So we get home, and Anna's gone to the room to get all fixed and everything and ready for the night. I go to the kitchen to get some food, and Lucy's in there, and she's piddling around, and she's messing with stuff, and she's goofing around, and she said, Lucy's very jovial. Y'all know her. She's very jovial. She jokes around, and she's like, I think I want to get baptized. And I'm like, okay, because she's laughing kind of, and then she goes, and she started crying, after that. I'm like, oh, she's not joking anymore. And so dad hug, bring it in. So, baby, you okay? She said, I think it's time. Okay. Why? Now, mind you, she's 11, so she's older than any of them so far. And I said, why? And she nailed it on the head. Because of sins, and I want to be baptized because of sin, and wash that away and all that. I'm like, wow, this didn't go past. This didn't go past the next stage. We're ending, and so I start hollering for Anna. Anna. So we're in the den and sitting on the couch.
No more. I'm done.
we're on the den sitting in the couch.
I'm not driving.
I know. I'm seeing them crying, and I'm just like, what else?
Don't make me get back in the car.
I'm sitting on the couch with Lucy's hands in my hands, and we're still talking. Big sisters are there. Lorelai's behind her with her hand on her shoulder, and Lizzie's got her hand on her shoulder. Y'all, that was the moment. That was a moment I wasn't ready for. Yeah. Having the big sisters there behind her and being there, and I was like, "Oh, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This is great." And so
we didn't have that when we were growing.
No. Will you hush? And then so Anna comes in there, and I said, Lucy has something she wants to take care of tonight. And Anna almost knew immediately, when I said that. And so we told Mama about it. Mama gets on the horn and starts. We're trying to figure it out, and it's too cold for the swimming pool, and so we're going to have to go back down to the baptistry at the church building and all. And so that's when we FaceTime y'all and got everyone down there. But that was wow. It was pretty straightforward for her.
Because 3 unique experiences from 3 sisters.
Oh yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, same family, same makeup,
same approach from you.
Yeah,
as far as like initially.
Yeah,
wow. I think that's beautiful. I'm gonna steal that. It's simple, but even asking that led to 3 different situations, 3 scenarios.
Very much.
1 dead deer.
Yeah, 1 dead deer. 50 pizzas. Later.
50 pizzas. That's amazing. Yeah. That's beautiful. And you've already kind of broached this to, talking about your approach to some of the older kids in your youth group and everything, and switching over to that, maybe not necessarily regarding baptism, but just in your experiences, both of you, your experiences as like being, I guess, leaders really in youth group especially. What are some of the biggest spiritual struggles that you've seen from some of these kids? And don't be general where you want to be general. I'm not asking, but just if you were to look at today's youth in church, what are some of the bigger struggles? Are they different from what we grew up with, or how would you classify it?
Big one that's different is social media. A lot. Yeah. It can be used for great things, but for that age, there can be a whole lot of negatives with it. And
peer pressure has always been around, and bullying has always been around. But now it's at an undetectable to parent level sometimes, and these kids deal with things, and there's a higher level of anxiety that we've picked up on with these kids than what we had when we were growing up. Even, I mean, we had anxiety. Teenagers struggle with all these things, and it's new to them, and that's what makes it worse, I think. But what's worse is when it's new to them and it's new to everybody, like with social media, all of these different ways to get divisive things to people.
I've had a theory about social media, or I say a theory, just an interesting take, because it's like like Facebook is one of the big. I mean, we grew up. MySpace was big for a little while, and then Facebook took over. Before MySpace was LiveJournal. If you really want to go deep,
we talked about that.
But when Facebook first came out, you had to have a college email to get in there.
So, Facebook, you had to.
Yeah,
MySpace, I don't think you did.
Right, but none of the parents really bothered with MySpace.
No,
Facebook was very limited to our generation, our group there at the beginning. And then they opened it up, and so it's like we've already been through as growing up. We've already learned through LiveJournal, MySpace, Facebook, how to. And we're still learning. Don't get me wrong, but we've been able to develop a little more within how to act on social media and how to respond on social media. And then they opened it up to our parents.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you're growing up and you think back and it's like your parents watch you through those awkward phases and do those stupid things you do as a kid. And so they always have that over you. It flips with social media. As we've grown up, now we're having to see our parents learn those lessons. And it's bizarre how it's flipped it on its head of, the commercials poke fun of it. That's not how it works. That's not how this works. And you see how just... It's almost like you see your kid do something that's kind of cringy. It's so much more bizarre when it's your parent doing something that's cringy and they're still learning how to use it. It's still growing. They're like teenagers.
You have to be like, hey, folks, no, don't share that on Facebook. Trump didn't really ride a lion.
This isn't a private message. You're putting this out for everybody.
This is AI. This isn't real. You got to quit sharing that.
But it's really changed the dynamic, I think, and in really different ways that we just are unique to that.
Well, with anything like with teenagers, there's always so with as far as communication goes, Facebook's great for communication. All these social media things are great for communication, but as with anything with teenagers, they always try to push the envelope to be undetectable.
Yeah,
and so there's all these things. Snapchat's one of those where it's kind of like a burner phone.
Yeah.
You send a message, it's gone. But in reality, it's never really gone. It can still be captured and distributed if you're not,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to say not careful because that implies you're up to no good, but a lot of times you're up to no good. But, you know, sneaking out of the house ain't a new concept.
Mhm.
That's what affected the older generations. Sneaking around and doing stuff you probably ought not to. That's the thing now with
So is there anything that you can do beyond just going back to being grandpa and saying, hey, this is what you do, this is what you don't do? Is there anything beyond that as a leader with these kids?
You head it off at the pass and you be there for them. You meet them there. You get to them when you know there's a social issue going down. You don't wait for them to talk about it. You talk about it.
There's so much that these kids are exposed to sooner now.
Yeah.
Because of social media and just the access to everything that involves.
Overstimulation.
Just to have TV in the car. Can you imagine? I would have killed for TV in the car.
Yeah.
Much less on my phone in my pocket.
Hey, listen, on the way here, we had 4 different little TV shows going on at once.
That's another thing. You imagine you, me, and our sister trying to settle on one.
Right.
No, even if we had one screen, it'd be on the Little Mermaid.
Oh,
so,
I still I've had to watch.
I don't know. Little Mermaid's pretty good. It's a banger, man.
While you were living in large in kindergarten, I was still at home watching Little Mermaid against my will day after day. And there's certain that soundtrack still triggers different emotions in me at different moments in the movie. But anyway, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I feel like there's so much heavier things that we have to talk about with the youth now.
Yeah.
And it has to be talked about.
It does.
It's very important to talk about it.
Because the worst thing that could happen is they go to these influencers and they take what they say.
That's so big.
And it's dangerous. Yes. A lot of them is dangerous.
Yes.
I mean.
And if you think your kid's not exposed to it by just sticking to these certain programs, you're wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's
Can you give just a couple of examples?
Well, they are going to accidentally stumble upon it, and they're
vaping.
Yeah,
vaping is a big one. Vaping is one of those things that's portrayed as it's no big deal. It's just the nicotine. Where hey, I tell with my guys hey, look, and we talk about that because it's come up before. And I'm not outing anybody. We've had I've had 1 or 2 that have hey, I've tried it. Is this wrong? And we talk about it, give them reasons why it's really not a good idea. You really shouldn't be on the handle for anything that's going to control you.
Yeah.
What is nicotine? Nicotine's the addictive substance. It's acknowledged as that. And all it is nicotine, which is just why are you being addicted? Why are you going down that road? Why do you want to be addicted to it?
Headed off at the path. As someone who has just in the last few months quit, I was just being honest, quit dipping. I've been dipping for so long. Yeah. And I just made the intentional decision again to stop. And this time I've made it farther. But it's so hard it's so hard to put it. And you go through some tough places when you want to really get real about it.
Yep.
And so it's if I could go back and never do it, it would have saved me a lot of needless pain.
And money.
And real quick to Anna's point, that's a big, I'll be honest though, that was a big influence in it because it's getting very expensive. But I want to go back to your point because what you brought up puts the and this is so important, puts the onus on the parent or whoever's leading the group. There is onus there. I think is sometimes because you can overgeneralize. I think a lot of times and say, well, kids these days and these kids do this and
that's the worst mentality.
Where you put the onus on hey, you see it coming, and like you said, you have those uncomfortable conversations. That's something that you don't just do. That's for at least for me. To have an uncomfortable situation, I talk about things I really don't want to talk about with certain people. I have to kind of prep myself to do that, and especially do it in a constructive, proper way. And so that's something that it's not just about being vigilant as to what are those struggles, but changing our mentality to prepare ourselves to go there and have those conversations and be mindful on how we're doing that. I think that's a very important point.
We have to adapt and overcome.
Right.
You know?
Kids these days are awesome. They're still awesome.
Let's not go too.
You've just got to teach them. And with you have to. You know they're going to be exposed to social media now. Well, you've got to work with it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got
So the weird part is because none of our kids have been on social media until quite recently, within the last week or two. You know, as you guys have seen,
It's so weird. too.
Lorelai. Yeah.
When they get phones,
So-
that's the first step.
Right.
Facebook is such
But
another
there's tons of kids that get into it a lot earlier,
step.
a lot younger, and so one of the weird things to me is having dealt with these kids for so long. Some of them are adults now, and so we've dealt with big teenager problems. We've dealt with big young adult problems. We've dealt for so long,
Big
and now
deer problems.
big deer problems. And so now to watch our kids get into those slots, to where, hey, I'm dealing with this. I'm like, okay, we've dealt with this. But not with any of my biological children. We've dealt with this before, so we're somewhat a little bit prepared. But you know, your approach is always different once it's your own.
I just
versus
feel
when
like
someone else.
having the uncomfortable conversations is such a big one because that's
And-
so
and-
easy
and
to
it can be
I don't
tricky.
want to go there, and I'm not.
Yeah,
going there.
it can be tricky with a kid that's not your biological child
yeah.
because there's some accountability and some,
Right.
and you know, that's where it's such a blessing to have Miss Anna,
The
be
deer
there.
slayer.
Yeah, the deer slayer. But to have her, you know, my knowledge, there hasn't really been any issues that kids bring up to where they can talk to me, and I'm like, and you know, if it's like a female student, it's like, yeah, we can absolutely talk about this, but I'm gonna bring Miss Anna in here
Yeah.
because for your sake, for your reputation, and for mine as well. But and
Well,
also,
for your
and
sake
also,
and understanding.
yeah, but also because Miss Anna's going to understand where you're coming from a lot better than I do, being, you know, female to female. And so, but yeah, it's just, you got to meet them where they're at on some of this stuff. And a lot of times when we can say we're going to meet somebody where they're at to try to help them, we can say it all we want to, but putting the boots to the ground and getting that, bless you. Sorry, it was a reflex. Put the boots to the ground and actually meeting them there, it takes effort, and a lot of times people don't want to, you know, do that part.
Absolutely.
When it comes to cutting the cloth. So,
well, and that, go ahead.
Sorry, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you do have somebody in the youth that comes to you. Do you ever like have the thought where it's like, I am not qualified to have this kind of conversation?
almost every time.
Okay. So we volunteered to go on a youth retreat one time only. It was that retreat like traumatized both of us, I think. But
That's
there
good for you.
there was a girl that she wasn't in our group, but she was from another youth group, and she starts sharing some of her story about how she had been assaulted and how she tried to take her own life and all these scary things. And
Super heavy.
I'm the quote unquote adult.
Yeah.
And
You weren't ready for that.
I was not prepared for that at all. And
Oh.
I had no idea how to have that conversation. And I literally went and got another adult because I didn't know what to do.
That's the best thing you could do. The worst thing you could do is I've had this question asked me pretty recently. How do you know you're qualified? Well, you really don't. But in the instance, you did exactly the right thing. If it makes you uncomfortable and you don't feel like you have experience enough, or you can at least listen. So you at least have the baseline. You can at least listen, and that's going to help them out tremendously. But as far as advisement and counseling after that, finding another adult that knows more about such said subject is the best thing you can do. You know, because you'll know right away if you're getting into something that, hey, I probably shouldn't say something about this.
Yeah, and on the big things where it's an obvious trauma or something major, you can get them with Christian counselors.
Yeah.
That are trained to do that and
certified and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, we keep we have one in particular in our neck of the woods that we use, and he's great, but he is certified and licensed and all this, and it's someone you can send, you know, the super heavy cases like we talk about.
Yeah.
So when you have a case like what you're talking about with that young lady, we've had stuff like that happen with us before, and that's one of those me and Miss Anna conversations. We sit there and we talk it out, and then after that we'll say, you know, where are you at with this? Are you, you know, do you feel like you need? We'll talk through it and get where we think we need to be, and then we'll say, okay, do you feel like you need some more help? Because we absolutely, our elders at our church have agreed to pay for the sessions for this counselor, and you know this counselor, and you've seen some of us. Would you like to have, you know, a session with him? And sometimes yes, sometimes no. I think this actually helped. And sometimes when they just talk stuff through, that's the most help you can give them, is they just put it out there, because they've been holding it on their chest for so long, and they've been toting it around, and then they finally give it to you. Now you have the knowledge of that, and you shoulder some of that. Oh man, I feel so bad for this kid, and you know, you shoulder some of that burden and everything, which is fine. That's what we're here for. That's what we signed up for. But always try to figure out, do you need help past this, past my skill set? You know, that's when you go find someone else. And sometimes it might be professional help, but like what you were talking about, especially, that would be professional help.
And I think you're better at, I think this is one of your strengths as far as, and I think Lacey and I think both kind of struggle with this, is like, you know, in that situation you're describing where, you know, you're talking to them and they're like, do you want me to get you some additional help? And they said, no, I'm good. Too often where I'll take that at face value, and I don't read into, maybe it's because I don't want to be uncomfortable any longer, or it's like I just take them at their word. I don't want to be pushy. It's like, I feel like you're better at this as far as knowing when to push, when to take it at face value, when to, okay, you say you're good, but you know, I think that's an important part too, is I'll take their word for it every time, you know, without giving them more of what they need.
Well, there's tells that they give away, you know. I've had some instances when you say something like that, it comes to mind immediately is watching a kid walk the campgrounds, church camp, and he's not his usual chipper self. His head's down a little bit. Man, you all right? Yeah, I just had to go to the bathroom. But reading past that, it's like, are you really all right? And he breaks down and he starts crying, and I'm standing out there talking to him and trying to go through everything with him. And that turned into a great study for his youth leader, which wasn't me. This kid was from Tennessee. And I passed him off to I said, you got one here that you gonna have a good time studying with. And it turned into a baptism later once they got home and kept studying, because he did the thing where we got in, because he got with his youth leader, and they have a youth minister. I'm not a youth minister. I'm just, you know, I'm just here.
You're just Jonathan.
There's plenty of guys. I'm
just Bosco.
No, I tell everybody, I'm just me.
Yeah.
That's all I can be, is me. I'm just me. But there's guys, and I don't like to be called youth minister, because there's these guys that go to school for this, and they study, and they get all this stuff, and they try so hard, and they have a full-time job as a youth minister. They are youth ministers. Okay. I'm just a volunteer, because
you're just a servant, like you talked about earlier.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just me.
Yeah.
You know? But so I got him with his youth minister, and so he got to talking to him. He's like, "What do you want Jonathan to be there?" I'm like, "Yeah, you want me? I'll be there, man." And so we studied with him, and it came up to, you know, why.
Yeah.
And there was some confusion there, and there was some, you know, but it turned on later on down the road when they got home. It turned into a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but picking up on those tales that they have, it's kind of hard sometimes, because teens, adults even, like to try to push their emotions down and hide.
Yeah.
And you just gonna have to be aware of context clues.
Yeah.
What?
Which I'm really bad at. Well, and two, and I will add this. I think it's very suitable for this situation, but I think it's suitable for any, because it's something I use not just regarding youth, but in any, almost any context where don't forget to pray. And praying to God, especially like what Lacey was describing, a situation where you feel way in over your head, what to do. This person is giving you all of this information and you're trying to take it in. You're trying to navigate what to do with it. And I've been finding myself more and more praying in the context of God use me. Like I'm in way too deep. I can't do this. This is like, use me to help affect this person.
Yeah.
In a positive way, or just affect this person in a positive way, and don't let me negatively influence it at all.
Here am I, send me.
Be mindful in that moment to pray to God and ask for wisdom and guidance in that situation.
That's nothing weird at all. Here am I, send me.
Yeah.
And then, you have to keep in mind that you're going to be the one to sow the seed sometimes. Sometimes you're going to be the one to do the watering, but God's going to be giving the increase. But we all have our role to play in that.
Mm-hmm.
So just being there to help, that's one of the best things you can do.
Did you have any more? I was trying to be discreet.
The coffee's wearing off. I feel it too.
Just, I don't know. One more question, I guess. So our church has really been trying to push like the importance of multi-generational relationships and, and how important the youth is into a church family and all the things. What advice would you give to just regular church folks that may or may not be afraid of the teenagers? So,
that's real.
It was Parks and Rec where it was like, the thing about youth culture is I don't understand it.
The youth.
So, but like, how can the church love the youth more? How can we show up for the youth more?
Or even like, as you two, as vocal and active leaders in that space, what is it that you could probably use help with from everyone else along those same lines?
That's kind of hard because we have super supportive group.
Yeah,
we got a group of elders that are, they're just like, what do you need? When do you need it? How much do you need? And I'm like, this and this, but it might cost this. They said, done.
And the donations.
We have a very giving group too. And my goodness, anytime we announce, hey, the youth group is going to travel to do this, we're going to go work on this, donations come in. I mean, people give like there's, like we're told to on a first day of the week anyway, but then the extra donations are like, here, give this, and it's earmarked for youth group for a certain program we're doing or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we've just had in the last 2 or 3 years just an outpouring of super outpouring of support. So supporting
financial support or material support, but also being active in
financial support is great, and material support and resources, that's good. Volunteering,
showing up,
because going to these places takes bus drivers, it takes chaperones, it takes cooks, it takes people cleaning up, it takes people counseling people sometimes.
A lot of behind the scenes. And so we both wear, and we got a lot of people that help us tremendously. And we know when we're going to do this, hey, let's get with so-and-so and see if they're interested in helping. And more often than not, they are, unless there's some kind of major conflict. Mm-hmm. We got so many people chomping at the bit to help. We're blessed with that. But being there to help, because donating resources and donating financially is one thing. Donating time is huge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And getting... Well, because none of those other things matter if you're not going to give time.
It don't matter at all. And, and when you do volunteer like that, the kids see you volunteering, you're being that example of serving, and they want to grow up and be like that. And that's what you want to reciprocate. One of the things to get involved, or to get multi-generationally involved, It's too late for me to say that. Get the youth group active and going towards the older age group. Somebody's whistling. Going towards the older age groups. So we have this thing that has worked out great. Somebody's whistling and the kids have gotten unruly. But we have this thing that works out great that we've done for the last 2 years consecutively, and we will probably continue to do so, is we have a pretty good sized list of widows and widowers at our church. So we have a program called Widow Watchers. And so we have different families and different people that'll check in on them and all this stuff, and they're responsible for them. Well, hey, baby. Then, so during Thanksgiving season, we'll have a Friendsgiving thing where the youth group serves the widows and the widowers and their families. So we'll get them all together. We have this big meal, and the widows and the widowers and their family, and they sit with them.
That's awesome.
Last year,
Love that idea.
Not last year, the year before, I got them to interview. And that was hilarious.
Oh, that was so good.
That was hilarious. And so this
I'm
year,
definitely loving this now.
they interviewed them like, what's your favorite color? What was your favorite actor from, your childhood? What was your favorite childhood activity? So this year during Friendsgiving lunch, I put this all together in a presentation. And that was fantastic. Those older folks loved that. They saw that flash up on the screen, and it was just, everyone got a laugh out of that.
That's a fantastic idea.
I think we should keep doing it. This could be an interview year again.
Yeah, I think we'll interview again this year. But getting the youth group involved in serving the older generation.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
When the older folks see that, they're like, they know they're loved, they know they're cared for.
You're building a connection.
You're building a connection, and that's kind of, I think that's what you're after in this question. Yeah. So it's kind of a two-way street. What can we do for the youth group? What can the youth group do for the rest of the folks too?
Mm-hmm. And you're the single word that you're kind of just describing: unity.
Yeah,
unity in a group, unity in a congregation, which is such a big thing. And then more than that, you're talking multi-generational unity between two major ends of the spectrum.
Different. Vastly different. Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's so encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
Parent involvement.
Parent involvement's huge.
Helps tremendously.
And it's one of the things we always have in our yearly presentation, that we can do everything right in youth group. We can do everything right in the youth program, and it won't matter at all unless discipleship happens at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because discipleship starts at home.
Right.
And we can teach these kids everything till we're blue in the face, but it's not going to be applicable, and it's not going to stick unless mom and dad or grandparents who's raising them get on board. And
it's amazing how those examples, like you said, you can talk about it at church. They can learn this specific, like certain phrases or words that they need to know, and that, the certain answers to the certain questions. Yeah. I think about growing up, we've had grandparents, parents, great examples in our lives personally growing up. We've heard the same speeches over and over again. I might have heard a few more times than you.
You got extra.
Yeah, I got extra. But there was something about seeing you. Our dad harped on us about being a man, being a father, being a husband. He really instilled that in us
in the right ways.
Yeah, in the right ways. Yeah. But we all learn in different ways. For me, I learned from that, but seeing you go ahead and put it into practice as becoming a husband and then becoming a father, seeing that did a lot more for me than any. I'm not taking away any of those lessons. They did a lot for me, but it's just, we learn in different ways, and having different examples from different levels. It's amazing, how much of an impact that can make on a single individual.
Yeah, I believe you referred to me as a guinea pig in another podcast with somebody else. I was listening to. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I appreciate the guinea pig. I'm gonna let him eat that first, and let's see what happens. But no, this is all amazing stuff. Thank you so much for sticking around for a bonus.
Oh, sure.
Did you have any more pearls that you wanted to drop before we wrap it up? There was a book or something, right, that you wanted to bring up? Or
oh no. Well, no. You're asking about. No, it's just a theory. It's just a thought we have. Oh wait, are you talking
like
about
a message that you were going to? I think it was about baptism, right?
There's a resource. So what I was
resource. That's what.
Yeah. So what I was. So a lot of times, I know one of the things before any of our kids were baptized, I thought about it. You know, I'm like, because I'll try to prepare as much as I can, prepare myself mentally and prepare however. And one of those thoughts is, what am I going to do when one of my kids comes to me and says, I'm thinking about being baptized. Should I be baptized? And how do I talk about that when I was so petrified up until 15 years old? How do I, because surely I won't have any kids that's that forthcoming in that, oh, I was wrong. Boy, I was very wrong. But yet, we still got one to go, so we'll see. But he's not very shy at all. But when you're a parent, maybe you haven't thought about it. Maybe it's one of those things where you don't know how to engage. You don't know how to take on that question. Am I ready to be baptized? Well, there's a book, and it's by one of the authors is Kyle Butt. He works for Apologetics Press in our neck of the woods, and they put out so much cool stuff. They made these cards. These discovery cards I was showing you earlier. But this book is called "Am I Ready to Be Baptized?" and I'll show it to y'all. But
I can drop that in our notes on our website.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
But this is a resource that Tom has used with parents who are kind of not as sure-footed as to what to do when the subject comes up. And I'll send you the ISBN and all that good stuff. And,
we have by the way, small group podcast.wordpress.com. You'll find how to reach us, contact us. You can find all of our episodes. You find notes for certain episodes. I'll make sure to post that too. So,
but yeah, that'd be a great resource that we've used at our congregation before.
And Lacey and Lucy read it.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of Liz and Lucy's conversation for that did come from us, but they did have that as well.
So, Are You Ready to Be Baptized? What was the author?
I know it was Kyle Butt. There's another Kyle Butt, yeah, and John Farber. I'm not as familiar with him, but very familiar with Kyle Butt, and I'll find that and send it to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
no, this has been fantastic stuff.
Thank y'all so much for taking time out of your vacation to yap with us. And
we just came down to visit.
And Taylor and Sabrina, we miss you. Thank y'all so much for loving on our youth. But just before we go,
they're out in the field doing exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly, they know.
But just real quick, I just want to thank Jonathan and Anna so much. I don't know if I've ever said thank y'all for this before. When Gabby was born, Gabby's 3, so this is 3 years ago. Anna and Courtney came down.
Our sister.
And while we were in the hospital, they cleaned my house. And y'all,
it wasn't me.
Y'all, I was so huge while I was pregnant. And so it was, I wanted to nest and I just I couldn't even see my feet. So it was just, it was so hard.
More concerned with rolling over than nesting at that point.
Oh, bless it. Pregnancy was a struggle, but to come home to a clean house, I cannot tell you. I mean, you know, as a mom, you know.
She very knows.
But also, so when you came down to meet Gabby, Jonathan, you walked in and you gave me a hug and you said, "How are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm good, I'm good." And you went, "Mentally, how are you?" And I went, I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about. You know when to push.
It's one of those cues. Plus, that was a been there, done that, knowing good and well postpartum, what postpartum is all about, and that it's a really real thing to watch.
Well, and nobody had asked that or anything, and I hadn't slowed down enough to stop and think about
You
it.
didn't know how you.
I didn't. And I was like, I don't know, and then I was like, I don't think I'm okay, actually. But
She responded until she talked to Jonathan.
I just want to sleep, actually, and then we'll think about feelings and thought all the things. But yes, but I appreciated y'all so much for being there in so many ways, and y'all have helped. Is 6 hours away. Y'all have still helped raise that child and keep her alive. And I just appreciate all
Well, see,
so much.
It's because hey, there's my nephew. It's a weird feeling. It's what you guys have felt this whole time. It's because we've had our kids, and they're your nieces and nephew, and then you've got more on the other side, and then so y'all have known this whole time. Gabby's our first little niece, and I have never known what it was like to have a kid that I would protect like my own flesh and blood child. But
it's a little more fun, isn't it?
It is. But I only see her every once in a while, and when I don't see her for a long period of time, my heart aches, and I'm like, I don't know what it's like to have this kid that's not under my roof, and I'm worried about her and worried about her folks and what they're doing, and if she's okay, or is everybody okay? And when little bit gets sick, and Lacey calls, and have you heard from Lacey? And Jam will tell me, have you heard from Ben and Lacey? Is Gabby
Here I
any
was
better?
worried we were blowing you up too much.
So
no, not at all.
when we left from here after she was born, was it Christmas? We do Christmas here.
Yes.
When the kids
Yes.
met her and we went. Well, me and Courtney, of course, didn't want to leave after seeing her,
Yeah.
but that was a sad leaving.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was horrible.
And I'm at home just steaming. It's my niece. How come I can't go see her?
And I mean, well,
I got to stay here with my stinking kids.
No, I meant even like after the Christmas, because
Oh,
then
yeah,
we
yeah.
knew it would be a
Oh,
while.
yeah, it really was. It really was.
Awful.
Yeah, because y'all were fresh, baby. Y'all couldn't really travel good yet, and all
Right.
that. And yeah, I remember.
So I wasn't prepared for
'Cause that was-
that either.
Because I think
How much love I have for that little.
didn't we postpone
little
Christmas
baby
to like
Yeah.
Yes,
into
until
January?
into January.
Mhm.
Okay, so that
Big
was
old
my
Christmas.
first. That was my
Yes.
first meeting.
Yes.
The
Yes.
baby, and I'm like, oh my
I mean,
goodness.
You did get the first
kids
look
were
in the-
crying.
Yeah.
Other than me and Lacey, you were the third person to actually
Yeah.
see her. I got her picture out. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, no one will hear this.
So the kids were crying when we left. So we were like, we're trying to like not cry because
Yeah.
the kids are already.
Hold it together.
Aw.
So yes.
Well,
Well-
and like Gabby spent a couple days in the NICU, and you being there, like you being able to be in the NICU with me, and like, and Gabby wasn't even in the NICU for anything remotely serious. It
Mhm.
was she was over 10 pounds and she couldn't regulate her blood sugar, and bless it.
Little Debbie.
And so, but just you being there meant the world to me.
Aw.
So I just
and
really appreciate
and I'm fit to be tied because baby's in the NICU, and I'm getting pictures of Cookie and Anna, and they're hovering over the baby. I'm like, I want to hover over the baby.
Well, we had talked about with the youth group, social media, technology being a big threat. It can be just such a big blessing in the same
Yeah.
way. In
Yes.
that we're 6 hours away, she still knows who Bosco is. She still
yeah.
knows who Jam is, because we'll have to step it up. I thought we were calling too often. We try to call y'all at least maybe once or twice a
Oh
week.
no.
I know y'all
And
do good.
we're
It
so
was just we
blessed.
just weren't prepared.
Yeah.
I guess that was
Yeah.
the first.
We're just so
Me,
blessed that
so-
we're able to have that.
Yeah.
And not just y'all, but then there's the grandparents.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what that relationship is.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very tight.
Yeah.
That's a very important one.
So,
But yeah.
Shows how much we love that little girl.
Oh, wow.
She's more precious than mine.
I
And I know firsthand why. And one of mine heard me
He's
say that.
kidding.
Is he? Quit
Aw.
crying. Oh, I'm in trouble.
We love
now.
you
Well, it
all.
was a
Poor
good episode.
Lacey.
We just didn't stick the landing there.
But thank y'all
Yes.
so much for everything that y'all
I
do.
can echo that completely. I can't add any more. Y'all have just been beyond what I could describe as far as blessing goes for us. So thank you so much for giving us a bonus episode too. I know you guys are wore out, exhausted, and
we're
you
gonna
still
sleep good in the morning.
But this was great stuff. If no one else listening needed to hear it, I needed to hear it. So it helps me out. Yeah, you got one. So thank you guys so much. I can't say enough. And we thank all of y'all listening for joining our small group. We'd love to hear from you. Send us, your messages, your questions, whatever you want to discuss. If you want to connect for more information, even with Bosco and Jamma, let us know. We'll set you up. They'd love to help you as well. But yeah, just if you want to reach out to us directly, you can email us goat.bear.lobster@gmail.com. Go to our website, find all the information on how to contact us or any notes and stuff that we've talked about tonight. smallgrouppodcast.wordpress.com. Again, thank you for listening. We'd love to hear from you. Just reach out, let us know. And that's all we got. We appreciate you listening and joining the small group.
If you're visiting in or around the Florida Panhandle area, come visit and worship with us at our congregation at Palo Alto Church of Christ, located at 3119 US 231 in Panama City, Florida. You can also message us or email us if you have any questions at goat.bear.lobster@gmail.com.